Hey everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. Today we have a special guest. He is not only a brand new IFBB Pro League Classic Physique Pro who just made his pro debut, he's a competitive eater. We got to talk about that. That is some cool shit right there. He's also been a contestant on the Titan Games with Dwayne Johnson on NBC. He's also a state trooper in Kentucky. He sings, he dances, he acts. This guy does it all. Please welcome Bartley Weaver the Fourth. How are you, Bartley?
Hey, Ron. Thanks so much for having me on, man. This is like a dream come true. You know what I mean? I stayed in Walmart, while my mom was shopping, and I'd have to grab me the MD, see what's going on, find me a good workout, find the diet that Jay Cutler's on, see what's going on. So it's been a whirlwind, past couple of weeks. So
good stuff.
Love to talk about it.
Looks like you do your own podcast there, huh?
Yeah, we got a little weekly podcast called Bodybuilding and Cheat Meals. So that kind of goes in, with the whole shtick there. So
okay. So before we start, I have to know you are a Bartley Weaver the Fourth. That is a generational commitment right there. Do you have a son right now? Are you going to have a son, or?
I don't have a son, but when I do, he will be the V.
Wow.
Bartley Weaver the Fifth.
How far back? Who's the first Bartley Weaver? Was that like Civil War, or how far back we going?
It's back there. I don't even know, to be honest with you.
So, I was gonna say that's 4 generations.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if you had a boy and didn't name him Bartley, they'd probably be very upset with you.
That's a disgrace. I'd be kicked out of the tribe.
So now we're gonna get to the bodybuilding stuff, of course, but I talk to bodybuilders every damn day. I don't talk to competitive eaters every day. So that is fascinating to me. First of all, when did you know that you could eat more than the average person? How did it become something you thought you could be competitive at?
Well, what's funny, starting at a young age, I always had the big appetite. My dad started me in the gym when I was 12 years old. So I was getting the extra, caloric burn there. I discovered the importance of protein and how I needed to get bigger and build muscle. So it was kind of one of those things I knew that I needed to do to get bigger, but it was also, I freaking love food, and mom's in there in the kitchen. You hungry? Yeah. So, so I was blessed, with the upbringing there, and I never went hungry. So,
and you didn't get fat either, which, you hear that about mom making, and you're in the South there. So I'm sure it was like biscuits and gravy and all kinds of.
Oh yeah. No cat head biscuits.
How, but you obviously must've had them. Were you a chubby kid, or were you always athletic and on the thinner side?
No, always, mesomorph growing up, always athletic. I think the difference, Ron, back in the day, I'm talking like I'm 50 years old, but we
You're
played
50
outside.
Years old?
No, I'm talking like I am. Yeah. I'm 32.
Oh,
but
you're a kid.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But that's the difference, I think. I was brought up playing sports. How do you get better? You practice, you go out and play, gather up the kids in the neighborhood and play a little pickup basketball or a little football or something like that. So, we'd play all day until it was dinner time, and then it was time to eat. Yeah. And it's pretty funny, actually, that I've got a brother, and he's 2 years younger. He doesn't work out or anything. And so at a young age, I always had that appetite ready to go, and my brother didn't. So, I would kind of tap him under the table, because he would get in trouble if he didn't eat all his food. So, here I was getting little extras under the table, and my mom always made 2 dinners, made one for the family, and then made one for me. So if she had, a big pan of Pillsbury croissants, to go with the meal, there would be a pan for the family, and there'd be a pan for me, so now this is Bartley's, so it was pretty awesome. But that's where the appetite began. And, people kind of started tagging me and stuff, like on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and stuff, let me know that, hey, there's a such and such contest going on this weekend, and there's a $150 prize purse. I know you'd like to eat, so I'm like, I'll tell you what, I'll go train legs, and I'll go in fasted, and I'll dust this whole competition. And so I did that for a couple of years, and actually I was making more money as a amateur eater, on the circuit, just because I didn't have a contract to abide to and no guidelines. So I could go from state to state, contest to contest, state fair to state fair, and kind of rack up on a free cheat meal and a little cash. So
Yeah.
that's how it started.
I'm curious, what's the top? We hear Nathan's Fame or whatever. They had that like last week in Coney Island, I think it is. That's the most famous one. I don't know why. Probably because it's probably been around the longest, I'm guessing. But I looked at the prize money. I wasn't that impressed. I mean, Joey Chestnut won as usual. He got 10 grand. I'm like, man, people get at at smaller bodybuilding shows. What's the top prize that anybody in the world of competitive eating? What's the biggest cash prize that they offer anywhere?
That is the Super Bowl of competitive eating.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So, there's on a normal year, there's a pretty hefty circuit where you can hit a few things, every other weekend or something like that, and if you're in the top 5, you're going to get some money. So, it's kind of like bodybuilding, unless you're at the very top, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's hard to rack up the prize money, but more than anything, Ron, you're a competitor too. Yeah. It's fun to compete. Sure. Like I tell you what, it felt like I was playing a college football game right before kickoff, getting ready to go in there. And, I've done the world pepperoni roll eating championship and the world mutton eating championship. And I compete against Joey Chestnut in both of those actually. And
did he win both of those or no?
Oh yeah. He set world records. It's like playing with Michael Jordan.
No. See, that's what I also wanted to know, because I see that there's a guy from Japan with blonde hair that wins a lot of these things too. I don't know his name.
Kobayashi.
Probably, yeah. But he doesn't look like a large human being to me. He looks, if I had to guess, he looks to me like he's about 5'6", 5'7", 150 pounds, something like that.
Yeah.
Joey Chestnut, he's not a huge guy either, from what I can tell. You're a big dude, but I think everyone would assume some 6'3" obese guy would be winning everything in the world. That would be the guy that could eat. So is it a big misconception that in competitive eating it would be some big fat guy that would be able to win all these things, to eat that much? That's
funny you say that. I've done some competitions, and one jumps out in particular. It was a pizza eating contest. Can't remember where it was, but you had your big 350-pound dudes talking smack. Oh yeah, I'm gonna tear it up. I was like, man, you ain't got to worry about those guys. They ain't got good enough cardiovascular system to breathe and get through those pizzas. You know what I mean? So it's usually the skinny guys you got to watch out for some reason.
And what about choking? It seems dangerous to me. It seems like there'd be a huge danger of choking. Has that happened at a lot of these things?
Yeah. That's the number one goal I tell myself is just, hey, don't choke. You'll be all right. You know what I mean? We have water and stuff, and depending on the contest, some of them you'll dunk. You're able to dunk the food, and some you don't. But you've always got plenty of water on standby. But that's one of those things that just don't choke.
Yeah, but I mean, there must be like 5 people standing right off stage, ready to do Heimlich maneuvers.
Yeah.
On you guys.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to know: how do you prep? Do you starve yourself for a while? We eat every 2 hours as bodybuilders. Do you wait 6 hours or 8 hours before you eat?
Last year I found my sweet spot, 18-hour fast.
Wow. Okay.
So and that's man, I'm the most unconventional bodybuilder you probably had on a little bit, because during this prep going for the pro card, I fasted 1 day a week.
Really? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Just waist control and calorie control, so I won the amateur Olympia class D classic physique last year, and I talked to the judges afterwards, and they're like, hey, lats a little wider, waist can't get no bigger. So I said 10-4. Gotcha. So I did the waist trainer 8 hours a day during my state trooper shift, and I did yeah, for sure. So, and I did that. I freaking wore out the vacuum training. This is the first time that I've ever tried to pull a vacuum. I didn't think that I could. I was like, Ron, man, I've got too much stomach in here. I've got too much
rib cages. People with big rib cages, they can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't do a vacuum. My rib cage
So,
is freaking.
hey, I bet you could, because I was adamant. I was like, I'm never hitting a freaking vacuum. I hate it. My rib cage don't look good for it. But the more I did it, it took me about a month and a half of relentlessly trying to do it. And then it started to come together. And once I actually saw that, hey, it made my waist look smaller because I was pulling everything up and making my lats look bigger. So that, I actually think that was the game changer for me turning pro this year. It created a better illusion.
Yeah, I mean, small, especially in classic physique, you have to have a small waist or else forget it. I mean,
Right.
So many guys in so many failed bodybuilders that I know have tried classic, and just because you can get to that weight does not mean you have a physique that belongs in classic physique. Not at all. You're just a bodybuilder who's not really big enough for bodybuilding. They want that crazy taper.
Yeah.
Last couple questions about eating, I promise, but this is like I said, I don't get this. I never get to talk about. So what's your most impressive achievement? Like 100 hot dogs in 2 minutes? What have you done that you look back and go, wow, I can't believe I did that?
I did. Every year we have a Shop with a Trooper a charity event where we take kids out and shop for Christmas presents and stuff. And I got the idea a couple of years ago. I was like, well, I need to use the gift God has given me to do something good. Well, just so happens mine is competitive eating. You know what I mean? So I went around town and petitioned for just trying to get people to place bids on how many slices of pizza that they think that I could eat, and with a dollar amount attached to that, do whatever you want, but beware. I'm gonna fast, and I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna tear it up. So I did 47 slices of large pizza in 30 minutes.
Wow.
For charity. Yeah.
So let's see, I guess a large pizza. So that's probably like 6. How many pizza? That comes out to like 4 or 5 large pizzas, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. 47 divided by 8, whatever that is. It was
dude, you're the man.
Yeah, it was fun. I've done I think capacity wise, I did 10 pounds in New York one time. I did a 3-pound crepe, 5-pound calzone, and 2 pounds of donuts at this one place in New York. That was a pretty good one. I got that on my YouTube channel. And one that you would like, you've got to see this. I'll send you a picture later.
I gotta find you're on YouTube. Some of this, I hope, right?
Yes. I got all of them on there. But one that you'll like, it's a 6-pound donut, and you have to eat it in 30 minutes. And that was one of my first against. I wasn't a pro eater yet. That's before I signed the contract. I signed a 3-year contract with Major League Eating. But before that, this one guy, knew I was in the area. He was in Kentucky. This place is in Louisville, Kentucky. It's called High Five Donuts, and they have a 6-pound donut. And what it is, it's a pound of fried chicken. It's 6 farm fresh eggs. It's 2 pounds of sausage gravy. It's Ron, there's so much stuff on this, man. You won't even believe it. There's a box of cornflakes. There's a bottle of grape jelly on it.
This is all stacked on top of the donut.
This sucker's like this, so there's 3 donuts called dohemas. So you had 3 dohemas, and they were stacked triple decker. And you had your eggs under this one, you had your fried chicken under this one. You got your eggs on top and everything. Man, it was good.
Wow. Now, I always wondered, this isn't, you don't have to tell me if you do this, but I said, if I ever did something like that, and I can't eat that much, unfortunately, I would go puke it up. I would not want all that, my belly out to here. Do guys usually purge after these things?
It depends on what it is. Sometimes if it's more of a protein deal, it just depends on how you feel, and if you feel like doing anything the rest of the day, I guess. But
I mean, to me, I would assume that once this is over, you guys would all feel like sick to your stomachs.
Well, here's the thing, Ron. It's, any professional eating event is 10 minutes in duration.
Okay.
So you can do a lot of damage in 10 minutes, but depending on what you're eating, like the pepperoni rolls, they didn't have cheese or sauce in them. It's something that they do in West Virginia. It's like an old coal miners meal. So it's like a 6-inch sub with 2 sticks of pepperoni in the middle. So I mean, I could have ate for 30 minutes and I wouldn't have been full just because the chewing that you had to do, you know what I mean? So, after that, I still went and ate and got a few funnel cakes and deep
Wow.
fried Oreos and stuff. But it just depends, the hot dogs. That's why it's the Super Bowl of competitive eating, because it's all about speed and capacity. You know what I mean? Because you can really once you start dunking those buns and double barrel those hot dogs, you can really put down some weight.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about chewing. It doesn't seem like there's any time to chew. You know what I mean? Like that's why I can't do this. It takes
Yeah,
me forever to chew my food. And I'm looking at these guys and it seems like they're not even chewing. It seems like they're just throwing them down like a reptile or something, the way they just eat everything whole.
well
I don't see any chewing going on.
well, here's the thing. If you've got the capacity and you've trained your stomach to expand and stretch, then you can do a little bit more water than others. So what you're seeing people just flush it down, like Joe Chestnut. He'll just squeeze that water bottle and just shoot it down, as long as it's, partially chewed up.
Man, so this is the opposite of a waist trainer. Waist trainer, you're trying to get
Exactly.
now you're
Exactly.
you gotta
So,
quit.
so
You gotta quit doing this, man.
so that's so that was my goal. I was like, I want to be the first ever professional eater, professional bodybuilder. So
I don't think you have any
it's
challengers.
it's there's actually a guy that's a bodybuilder that's in the like top 5. Like, he's good. I always keep trying to get him to compete. And I think he got like 4th maybe
Huh.
on the hot dogs the other day.
Yeah, yeah.
And he stays shredded year round. I'm like, dude, you need to freaking compete, you
Wow.
know.
Huh.
But
Final question about eating. I promise this
all
is the
right,
final one.
no, that's good.
Performance enhancing drugs. I said, if I ever did that, and I'm not going to, I'd probably get stoned out of my mind. I'd get baked. Then maybe I could eat more. Do guys, and there's also a peptide that people use. Is it a peptide or a SARM? Yeah, it's a peptide. That GHRP6 is an apulate. Is there any of that going on in that circuit that you know of? Do people use anything to boost their appetites?
To be honest with you, I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
Um,
Genetics.
I don't know. I'll tell you what. There's some pre-workout going on.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, there's some pre-workout going on, and that's the thing that I was surprised about.
huh.
Is I had a buddy kind of take me under his wing, and he was like, hey man, he's like, you definitely want a shot of caffeine, or you want something before, because once you hit about that 6 or 7 minute mark, man, you're dragging. You've got the flavor fatigue going on, and you're trying to switch to different flavors to mask what you're eating. Your body, it's almost like your body's starting to reject it. And you wouldn't think that after 7 minutes, but not many people have eaten 7 minutes of hot dogs as fast as they can either.
No. I mean, that's why they
But,
tell people to eat your food, especially because most people have a weight problem. Most people
right.
eat too much. They tell everyone, eat slowly, and then your brain senses satisfaction as the ghrelin or something triggers that. So if you eat fast, you can eat more because your brain doesn't get a chance to know it's full yet. But yeah, 7 minutes of straight pounding. Oh my God, I can't. All right, well, Bartley, that is the end of my questioning section about competitive eating. It was fascinating. Thank you, because I bet I never would have had the chance to ask anyone these questions ever again.
So Ron, I am going to have to do one later this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm going to do the World Tamale Eating Championship in Louisville, Texas.
Tamale.
So
is there like hot sauce and crap involved in that?
I don't know. I don't know. There's 2 on the same day. There's one in New Jersey. It's the Trenton Pork Roll Eating Championship, which I don't even know what a pork roll is. So I was like, I like tamales. So let's try that out. So that's later this month. They actually asked me. I was like a week out from junior nationals, and I got a call from the the commissioner of Major League Eating, and he's like, "Hey man, I know you did this one a couple years ago. Would you be interested in grabbing a spot at the table?" And I was like, "Well, I better not. I'm about a week out here. Still got about 25 pounds to lose."
Man, if you went to a week out, 25 pounds of those, we got to talk about that. I bet if you had been invited to stuff in like Japan, they would have had weird crap like fish heads or something really disgusting that you had to eat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're like brutal over there with their game shows and everything. It's like torture shows. All right, bodybuilding. So you're athletic. What sports were you into as a kid?
Football was my main sport. I kind of played everything growing up, but I ended up shifting most of my focus just towards working out, getting bigger, stronger, faster for football. I ended up playing a couple years college football, tore my ACL, and that's when I switched full on bodybuilder mode.
Okay, because a lot of guys, we have so many bodybuilders came to bodybuilding from football. It's such a common thread in our sport, especially in the USA, obviously. When you would, and a lot of them will talk about, like, Guy's sister Nino, obviously. Guy used to talk about, he would do his full, like, 2-a-day practices. Then he would go to the gym and lift for like 2 hours. Were you doing that? Were you doing the bodybuilding training on top of all the football training in college?
Yeah, that's pretty good. I haven't been asked that in a while, but that's exactly what was going on, because you had the 2-a-day practices, and our weightlifting portion, you were doing the bare bones. You had a little Excel sheet that you're supposed to write down your stuff. People was fudging their numbers, and I was like, man, y'all ain't trying to make no progress, man. And so what I would do, I'd go to the YMCA after I filled out my little chart and did my power cleans and my deadlifts and my squats and my bench, and I do all my accessory work, later that night at the YMCA. So, I was about the only player in there, but it's just something I love.
So what kind of results were you seeing in the beginning? Because obviously anybody that makes it into the pro ranks has a different genetic makeup than the average schmuck walking around the world. When did you start to really see a difference where you were developing differently than most of the other guys around you?
I would say probably in high school. I got a pretty good head start, with my dad starting me when I was 12 years old. I've got pictures. I was 14 on vacation, kind of posted up and got the abs and, got a little bicep vein going, so once you start seeing that as a younger kid, then you really fall in love with it.
Was your dad into lifting too?
He coaches lifting, but wow. he don't do much lifting. Yeah. He was like PE coach and everything growing up. So actually, he had the infamous key to the dungeon that I could go train at anytime I wanted to, so we'd be laying on the couch, Sunday afternoon or something. I'd be like, Daddy, let's go train. Let's go work out. He'd be like, man, you need a day off. I was like, no, I feel good.
Young enthusiasm.
Yeah.
That's a great time to be in life. So when did you start thinking, or did the idea to compete come from you, or did people around you, a lot of times when I talk to pros, somebody said, you need to compete, man, you do so well. To them, it never occurred to them, or they had no interest in it, or they resisted it. I don't want to go up there in my underwear and this and that. How did it all start for you?
I was very curious of it. I'd been training for my first show. I was 20 years old. I just missed the teen division. So at that point, I'd been working out for 8 years, and I just love training. And it just so happened that competing is kind of a byproduct of, your work in the gym. So I was like, it kind of interested me to be able to, display what I've been working on all this time. It kind of gave me a little extra motivation, a little extra reason to keep killing it in the gym. Yeah. So I had no clue about anything. I was on bodybuilding.com and looking at y'all's magazines and just trying to pick up anything I could, trying to figure out what to do. I went to a trainer, and he pretty much told me, he's like, let's just trial and error. Just try it out. And if you don't do good, then you need to change something.
So you didn't really have a coach. You didn't have any real mentor.
No.
Wow. mean, how'd you even know how to do the poses and everything? Just from looking online?
Yeah, just online. I don't even know if YouTube was going on back then, but
Probably not. Yeah, if you were
I
20,
was,
this would have been 12 years ago. Yeah,
yeah,
YouTube's not even that old. I think YouTube was just about to start at that
yeah.
time. Yeah.
I remember I had like I got some type of DVD. It was like you probably remember it. It was like a Bob Chicarillo like
Ah,
posing
yeah.
DVD or something. So I kind of watched that,
Few people
try
made
to learn the
those.
poses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect posing. That was one. Guy in Pittsburgh made one. Russ Testo, I think, made one. Yeah, there was a few instructional
yeah,
videos. So
yeah,
how did the first experience go? Because again, that's a make or break. A lot of people do it once and they say, all right, that was interesting, but no, I don't need to do that again. Other people, oh my God, I love it. I'm gonna do this till the day I die.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, my first show in 2009 was the Northern Kentucky, and I mean, I didn't know nothing wrong. You know, I was doing cardio one day a week because I thought that if I did anything more, then I'd be wasting my muscle away. You know what I mean? And I had the size, you know, to hang with some of the guys, you know, but definitely didn't have the conditioning I needed. So, you know, after seeing that, and you know, it was difficult, you know, as a 20-year-old going against mid 30s. You
Sure.
know, you're like, you know, although I'd been training it for 8 years and had some type of maturity, still didn't have, you know, anything close to what I have now. So
Right.
it just took time, and thank God for Classic Physique that I didn't have to do bodybuilding anymore, because there wasn't there wasn't Classic Physique back then.
Correct. So I'm looking at your stats and I see you put up on your Instagram, which is IFBB Pro Bartley Weaver the fourth IV, not the number four. You knuckleheads who don't know the Roman numerals. You put a good before and after from 2017. I can't recall what show it was, to the 2021 Junior Nationals where you turned pro earlier this year, 217 to 239. So if you turn pro at 239 pounds in classic, you got to be like 6'3", 6'4".
No, here that's after I filled up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So my weight cap was 230. So I stepped on stage at 239.
Okay.
That's just because I have to deplete like nobody's business. I mean, I'm talking about sauna. You know, I had to hit the sauna before I even headed down to Chattanooga, and then I had to get in the shower and turn it scalding hot and do 3 or 4 sessions of just all I could take, and just get out and sweat and weigh yourself, sweat, weigh yourself. And I'll finally make that. And that's you know, that's another part of my fasting deal is I don't eat any solid foods for like 2 days going into weigh-ins, just to empty my stomach out, you know. And I got a fiber product that I sell, you know, that I try to clean my gut out as much as I possibly can. And I think I only did almond butter for 2 days. It's the only thing that I ate. And then I cut my water the night before weigh-ins just to make weight. So it was so getting that extra 10 pounds, you know, in the pro league now is going to be a game changer for me.
So you can be 240 now as a pro, right?
Right.
So
Right.
you must be
So
6'1".
yeah, 6'1 1/4.
Okay, because like Bumstead's had this whole issue with, I think they've measured
Right.
him differently, and I think he can be can he be 240 now? I think he can. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're about the same exact height actually.
The
So
last time they measured him, but the crazy thing, and I talk about this with every Classic Physique Pro, is they measure your height at every show. But I'm like, these are adults; they're not getting any taller. We do get shorter, unfortunately.
shorter, if
I can
anything.
vouch for
Yeah.
that, but
I know it.
it's a long process. It doesn't happen that quickly.
Well, here's something that I heard, and I hope there's some truth to it, because if so, it would make life a whole lot easier and a lot less stressful. I heard that they're going to start recording these weights. They're using new software now, where you turn in your music and your posing for your posing routine and everything.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to have your height on there.
Yeah.
And going forward, I don't know. Have you heard that?
I think I started that rumor.
Oh, did you?
Well, I didn't. What I shouldn't say I started that rumor, but I've had in interviews with Classic Pros at least 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
We've had the same pretty much discussion, and because I wasn't the one that came up with it, but I saw somebody. I had just been to a show, and there was somebody in the show. I won't say who it was. He was upset because he had to go and run around and try to lose a bunch of weight because they measured him a little shorter. And I'm like, and I said, this is crazy. Why don't they just get your height once, keep it stored in like a database, and
Right.
the weight, absolutely, yeah, you should have to weigh in
Yeah.
every time, because someone will try to pull a fast one, come in at like
Right.
280 ripped or something
Yeah.
when they're supposed to be 220. But yeah, I hope if that's the case, I think that's a great
Well,
idea.
somebody said that at check-ins at Puerto Rico Pro.
Good.
So
it makes so much
maybe
sense.
that's what I'm saying. It saved time on check-in and everything.
Yeah, and the men's
for
physique
them.
guys, I think they do the height with them too, right? No, they don't. No, they don't. They're all in one group. Yeah, what am I saying? You guys are the only ones that have to have a height.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, for pros anyway.
It sounds like such a struggle for you to get down to weight, but now you got 10 pounds. So I was going to suggest, why don't you just try to get as big as you can, do bodybuilding, but that's not a great idea either.
Yeah. Well, I always thought, I was like, man, if I can just get that pro card, I can do whatever I want. You know what I mean? If I can get the elusive, I'm definitely not going to get a pro card in bodybuilding. I mean, maybe I could have, but I just realized that classic was my calling card. And, I've been first call outs for the past 3 years, you know what I mean? And got a bunch of seconds. So I knew I was right there. I just needed to fine tune a few things. And so now, we can grow a little bit. And I'll tell you what, Ron, I was thinking about doing the Norfolk Pro this weekend, but my body, it's wanting to grow. You know what I mean? I was 252 this morning, and that's hour and a half cardio a day, and low carbs, low fat, all that good stuff. So it's kind of,
well, like you said, once you're a pro, you can do any division you want.
Right.
So if you end up putting on a bunch of muscle, which could happen, because it sounds like you've been really fighting your body to get down to classic these past few years. That's all you've been doing since 2016 is classic, right?
Right. So I've got the appetite, so I got that part covered.
And that's, I think that I've talked to a lot of coaches and stuff, and they say that's, for many guys, that's the toughest thing is they say they give their clients a diet, say, I want you to eat this, and the guys will come back and say, I tried, I could only get a cup and a half of rice. You told me to eat 3 cups. I could only eat 10 ounces of steak. You told me to eat 12. It's the eating. So that's a huge bonus, man, that you can get that food down. Food is the most anabolic thing. It really is.
Man, I tell you what, I'm blessed to have the appetite. And, you hear a lot of people, just like you said, man, I'm hanging out with a guy, Sister Nino, last week in the Bahamas, and he's got the worst appetite of all time. I was like, man, please let me eat for you. Like, show me what to eat.
It's kind of embarrassing. I'm sure, because I'm kind of in the same boat. I always order all this food and I think I can eat it. And then it gets there. And it's embarrassing because, my wife can eat more food than me at a sitting. And I got a good 80, 90 pounds on her. It's embarrassing. As a man, you're supposed to be able to eat bucket loads of food and everything.
Yeah.
So tell me about the first pro show, because it's only one time. You only get to do that once to make your pro debut.
Right.
So what was that experience like? You placed 7th. You did very respectably.
Yeah.
So how'd the whole thing go for you? What was it like?
Yeah, 7th out of 15. I was, I was telling my family and some friends, I was like, hey, look, if I get last place, I'm not surprised. I was like, hey, I just turned pro last week, but with my height and my weight, I'm going to be one of the bigger guys on stage. You know what I mean? So as long as I can bring the conditioning, I think, I could beat a few. So I was shooting for top 10, got 7th, missed the first call out by 1 point on the scorecard. So, yeah, man, it's been a heck of a ride, from going to trying to complete this goal for the past 12 years of competing just to turn pro. And then, you're pro. And I always told myself, I said, if I ever turn pro, I'm competing the first pro show after. I don't care. You know what I mean? Because strike while the iron's hot, and, tomorrow's never guaranteed. And, I've had a lot of friends that, got the pro card, maybe took a couple years off, life happened, and they're not the same anymore. You know what I mean? I'm 32. Feel like I'm in my prime or heading towards my prime.
Absolutely.
So I said, let's do it. And what better way than to do it in the Bahamas and take a vacation after? You know what I mean?
Did you stay? Because that place looked
Oh
incredible.
yeah, I stayed for a week.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I freaking.
Yeah.
Hey, if I didn't stay a week, I might be doing Norfolk Pro. You know, I had a good time.
Yeah, but when I saw how great that place was, I felt so bad for. I know people. I'm sure tons of people just left the day after the show
Oh yeah, yeah.
because they
Like,
had
come
to
on,
for
man.
whatever reason. But I'm thinking, oh, they must have been
Yeah,
kicking themselves because that place looked at least as good as Atlantis, if not better.
yeah. I've never been to Atlantis. I've heard a lot of people talking about it, but
Yeah.
it was just so easy, man. Having everything right there. You know, you know how it is on the island. Sometimes you get a little tropical, little rain every now and then,
Yeah.
but everything was connected. You just walk through the casino, walk through the skywalk, and you head over to the convention center. So it was pretty awesome.
No, going back, you must have been one of the. Were you the tallest, heaviest guy in your class? You must have been, or
Yeah,
you're. Yeah, so bodybuilders in classic, we don't tend to be the tallest human beings,
right.
typically. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple guys close to my height, and just out of curiosity, I was asking them what they were weighing,
Yeah.
and they were like 217, 220.
Mm,
I'm like, dang, I was 245 on
wow.
stage, Puerto Rico Pro.
Nice.
So
So I'm just curious. It's still classic is still a fairly new division. Who in the division impresses you, or do you look up to, or get inspired by?
um it's crazy that you're asking me this question. You know what I mean? Just because, 2 weeks ago I was just amateur, just knocking on the door,
Mhm.
but of course I love the sport. I follow it daily. If I'm not listening to something, I'm watching something that's bodybuilding related. I just love it. Watch, your channel all the time. Anytime you got something up there, hey, we're trying to soak it up. Of course, Bumstead is the goat, so I follow him. I'm interested to see the Lord Jones
Yeah.
evolution. Uh, what's his first name?
Brian.
Brian.
Right.
Yeah, he looks freaky.
Mhm.
Um, I'm excited. I'm excited for all these taller guys, because
Mhm.
I think I think the class is kind of evolving. Of course, you're going to have some short studs that are just pieces of artwork, like Rough Diesel and Breon. I mean, phys- their physiques are just beautifully, you know, constructed.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm just excited. I'm just excited to
It's we've
to
had this debate, especially because when it was Breon versus Bumstead, and
yeah,
I'm not saying now it's Terrence. It obviously Breon could come back and win. They're all great, but there was this debate about the classic seems to have almost two divisions going, a short class and a tall class, even though you don't
mhm,
really. But it's
right,
hard to judge somebody who's 5'5", and even when you're wide as a 5'5", 5'6" guy, you're not as wide as a guy standing next to you like a Bumstead who's 6 foot, or Wesley Vissers. I think he's like 6'2". There's a
right,
couple other taller guys who are coming up that are really good. I know there's another one I can't think of at the moment. Another taller guy is excellent too. It's just, hey, I'm a little under 5'8", so but I can say with no bias, it's more impressive when you see
right,
somebody.
right,
It's like the
right,
old school, like Steve Reeves, Arnold. They were
right,
wide and a little waist, and it's just
right.
visually so striking. So I
Yeah.
tend to think Bumstead can hold on to this thing for a while if
Oh,
he if he
as long as
keeps
he wants
working.
to, as long as he keeps his health, I think.
He's just turned
Sh-
26.
sheesh.
Yeah, he's only, well, his birthday was back in January, but yeah,
Yeah.
he's only 26 years old. My God, he's got two
Yeah.
Olympia titles.
Yeah. I think he just posted his peak off season weight was like 260, around 262 or something this
Yeah,
season. So I mean, you know, that would be like 285 on me. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I've got
absolutely.
the I've got the fullback, I've got the fullback waist and everything else, but yeah,
So
he's
now that you've
got a
had your first pro shows over with, and you've gotten feedback from the judges, what are you going to be working? You're heading into what's going to be, I'm sure, a very productive off season. What are you going to be focusing the most on?
yeah, definitely looking forward to an off season. Like I said, I did the amateur Olympiad in December, so I only had like 2 months off
Hmm.
season.
Wow.
I went to Egypt and had a trip out there, and I got to experience that culture and the love for bodybuilding out there. It was awesome. I'm probably going back later this year.
Is that on just for your own amusement, or does someone out in Egypt want, you know how the Kuwait brings, and I
Yeah.
think Dubai, did somebody in Egypt want you out there training at their gym?
It's actually going to be security for some NBA players
Oh my
potentially.
goodness. Okay.
So, so it's something random,
You do it all, dude.
a guy that reached out to me and saw that I was over there and had a blast. And, of course, man, bodybuilding is next level. Ron, you got to get over there at some point, man. It's
kind of we should be ashamed as Americans, because this is
oh,
our,
man.
it's a worldwide sport. I'm not saying it's our sport, and it's not your sport.
Yeah.
But this has been the hotbed of bodybuilding. It's where it all really got started, the Mr. Olympia contest. But their fans put our fans to shame. The way they support the athletes, and I hear the shows, these people screaming, and when they show up in throngs, just crowds when these guys make appearances, and like we're like so jaded and spoiled here compared to them.
Here's what's crazy, Ron, is nobody knew who I was, of course, but I took more pictures in Egypt with fans of bodybuilding than I would ever imagine. I mean, you walking down the marketplace, and people are like, Rambo.
Yeah.
They call it John Cena.
They still say Rambo. They still do that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Rambo, of course I heard
years ago in Mexico, they were doing that to me. I'm like, they're still calling people Rambo. Okay.
Of course I had the turban on, and I was having a good time eating the Egyptian pancakes.
Wow.
Have you ever heard of that?
No, I didn't know they had their own version of a pancake.
Well, it's pizza.
Oh, okay.
It's actually pizza, or pizza-ish.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a crepe, but filled with pizza toppings.
Oh boy.
And they flip it and make it on the flat top. Man, it's good. It's the best thing I had while I was there.
Did you pick up a little Arabic or no?
No, didn't. Well, I got a Habibi. That's like the universal term.
My daughter's married to a gentleman who's Lebanese, and they call each other Habibi, and their cat is Bibi the Habibi. Follow her on Instagram. And
there you go.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I would like to get over there, because it seems like bodybuilding is so much more embraced over there than it is here. I mean,
hey, when I got there, of course, this is after Big Ramy just won.
Yeah.
And they still had the airport decked out in Big Ramy stuff. They had a cardboard cutout of Big Ramy, welcome to Egypt, sitting in the side chest,
Really?
I was like, man, I was like, man, that is cool right there.
I mean, you follow the sport. So Ramy, obviously, we got Hassan Mustafa, who's really doing well lately.
Right.
And a new guy lives in Russia, but he's Egyptian, Mohammed Al Alam. They're cranking out some champs, man, over in Egypt. They're doing something right.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to transition now into, it must be I don't know.
Yeah. The anabolic kebabs.
No, the anabolic chicken, right? But kebab.
Yeah.
Right? So last thing I want to get into is, Ronnie Coleman was able to have a career as a police officer for much of his competitive career before he retired to focus on it. You've obviously had to balance. How long have you been a state trooper for?
About 6 years.
Okay. And I'm assuming, are you out on the highways in a car all the time, or are you back at the station?
Yeah, worked night shift last night. So got off work last night, hit a little second session of the day, and try to get some rest here for you today. But
so what's the night shift, like 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., something like that?
Well, it's not really a night shift. It's actually a shift that I would prefer if I had to pick. I go in about 4 o'clock and get off at midnight. So
okay. Well,
it fits my schedule. I got the first part of the day to train clients, deal with my supplement company, run errands for that, and then put in your 8-hour shift and get off work and go back to the gym if that's what you need to do.
Man, you're hustling, because I mean, you're putting in you're full time as a state trooper, right?
Right. Yeah, 8-hour shifts. Wow. Yeah, so I'm telling you what, Ron, I didn't have much time for anything else this past prep, because I was doing 2 hours of cardio a day for probably 4 to 5 weeks. Wow. And you talking about 2 hours of cardio and then an 8-hour shift. And then, you know, an hour for weight training. And then I was training a client. And then, you know, there wasn't enough time a day, but we made it work somehow.
Doing the math, it sounds like you got about 4 hours of sleep in that span.
I tell you what, somehow I got about 6 or 7. I'm not quite sure. So it just, you got to multitask, man. You got to multitask.
So I see you have a website. Is that the supplement company too? Dreamweaverfit.com?
That is my, that's my online coaching. I've been doing some online coaching for about, I think I started it in 2015. So we're going about 6 years. Yeah. I've been coaching people, training people. I've cranked out a couple pros.
Anybody we know? Anybody I've heard
of? Ben Quill.
Sounds familiar. Yeah, that does sound familiar.
Yeah, I'll have to set you up with him. He's got a good story too. But he's men's physique. Turned him pro a couple years ago. But yeah, man, that's my website for all that. I've got I like to do I'm very passionate about doing these like 8-week challenges, and I haven't had the time to coordinate all that because I have to mail all the books personally, you know what I mean? But for anybody watching that's wanting to get in shape and wanting a community to suffer with, you know, I'll probably be doing one of those again soon. I always have a great turnout, you know, give away thousands in prizes. But it's an 8-week challenge, and I've wrote a book. It's called the Transformation Playbook, and it's basically for anybody that can't afford a coach. I sat down, took me about 6 months to type out every single thing that you needed to know if you don't know nothing. You know what I mean? So I wrote that, and that's on dreamweaverfit.com. And then my supplement company is thetitanfuel.com. So I kind of created that after being I was the mascot for the Tennessee Titans back in 2019.
Oh, really?
2020. Yeah. And
you were the mascot in the NFL games?
Yeah. Yeah. I come out wearing this helmet. This is just a mini one, but Tennessee Titans, I come out before the team out of the tunnel, man. Yeah, I'll have to send you some video. It was an epic experience. You know, you got the pyro, and you got the smoke and everything. And I come out, and basically they're just like, hey, you don't really talk, but you just get everybody fired up.
How did you get that gig?
It was just an audition.
Huh.
It was just an audition. And I ended up being, I think I was like 2 weeks out of North Americans, you know, a couple of years ago. So I was peeled, you know what I mean? And they told me to put
can
on.
You see the physique in the suit at all?
Oh yeah. I had to stay shredded. Yeah. Until the winter games, you know, so I had to hang on till the winter games. I was like, man, I was ready for it to get cold, Ron, you know, because I just come off North Americans, and, you know, usually I blow up within a month or two after competing. And, but we had to keep it in check. And I tell you what, man, that's very difficult keeping your waist tight for a whole football game, because I made the mistake one time and relaxed, and somebody took a picture and posted it, and they're like, where'd I get this mascot from? From Tootsie's? He's down there. but after that, you know, we kept it tight all year. And you know, once it got colder, I got the big shield. I was like, oh, it's game over now. I put on about 15, 20 pounds. You know,
so you're the mascot for the Tennessee Titans, and then I almost forgot you were on
the
Titan Games, which is
It
kind of looks to me like the mix between the Gladiators and then the Ninja Warrior. I don't know how to describe it, but how did that happen?
Yeah, it's the Rock show on NBC, and I basically, once again, there was an audition type of deal, and I submitted my application the day of the deadline, and they called me like 15 minutes later, and they was like, why'd you wait so long? You got an incredible story. And I was like, well, yeah, I didn't want to make a video, you know, I had to make some type of video telling why I should be on the Titan Games, you know. And basically I just meshed a video on iMovie of eating hot dogs and eating hot dogs and coming out flexing at Titan Games and the state trooper stuff. And I just meshed it all together. And so they loved it. And I even, you know, they cooked it like a DiGiorno pizza for me on set. That was like part of my B-roll. And they was like, we won't see you eat it fast. I was like, I got it.
I bet you did. Did you get to talk to
Yeah.
Dwayne a little bit?
Oh man, it's been an incredible experience. Yeah, actually met him backstage after, you know, you have to tell your people to look up the video, but if they type in Bartley Weaver lunar impact, if they look up that video, that's like my Super Bowl moment of the show. It was the most grueling thing that I've ever done in my life, the most pain I've endured, the most lactic acid that's ever been built up in my legs. It was the, you know, it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And to be able to do it successfully and impress The Rock, it was like, man, this is it, you know. And it was a come from behind victory. You had to run up the ladder. It's like 2 or 3 stories high, and then there's a wall in the middle on a half moon. So you get up there and you hit the wall and you try to push the other person off. Well, my big slow ass, you know, compared to, I was going against second best CrossFitter in the world, Matt Chan,
Oh yeah.
at one point in time. So, and he's a firefighter too, climbing ladders all the time. So he goes up real quick. You know, I'm doing decent, you know what I mean? But nothing compared to him. He hits the wall. He drives it all the way back. He's running full speed with that wall by the time I get up. And I just football shoulder into it and sit there and dug my feet in. And it took me about 25 minutes to walk him all the way back. And I'm telling you, Ron, it was like a 10,000 rep set of leg press that you couldn't get off or your legs would break. You know what I mean?
Like if you fell, what would have happened? Would you have broken your legs?
You're hooked up on a cable.
Oh, okay.
You know, you'll fall off, you know. So eventually I pushed him off the ledge once I walked it all the way back. But yeah, so The Rock came up to me, you know, backstage, and I was, man, you know, they had EMS on me. They said my heart rate was 200 and they were pouring ice water on me, ripped my clothes off. You know, it was intense. And after I kind of cooled down, I found some Pedialyte, you know, Pedialyte sticks backstage, and I was putting it in my water bottle, and I felt a big ass hand just grab my trap. And I was like, that's a big hand right there. And I turned around and it's The Rock, you know, and we basically talked about everything that you could possibly talk about in 15 minutes. And it was like, it was good because I was so exhausted and smoked that I wasn't like fanboying. I wasn't like, you know, it was just two meatheads talking, having a good time. We talked about food. You know, he knew everything. He knew that about being a state trooper and appreciate the service and all this stuff. But here's the kicker, and still waiting on it. So I know The Rock's probably going to watch this. So
I wish, but
yeah. So when I won that event, you know, I limped over to him, and I didn't have this planned or anything, but I was basically like, hey brother, does that earn me leg day, Iron Paradise? He said, you got it, brother. So we've actually talked back and forth quite a bit. And every time we talk, he's like, hey, we're going to get that leg day in. I promise you. Wow. So we got a leg day coming up pretty soon, Iron Paradise. But
is that his own private gym?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where's that? Miami? Atlanta? Where's he?
Well, I think he actually travels with it. So it depends on what state he's living in at the time. Yeah. And unless he's got multiple Iron Paradises, but he lives in different places. So
right. Wow.
So yeah, he sent me some of his shoes too. So so I'm gonna make some incredible gains this off season. I get the rock shoes from The Rock. And as you can see, I kind of started collecting shoes during my 2 hours of cardio a day. So
you have one of his right there. I don't even know what they look like.
No, but I'll grab one real quick.
Yeah, I want to see what The Rock has for shoes, for footwear. Jeez.
Yeah, these are pretty nice. They're great. Probably the best training shoe I've ever used, and that's not being biased.
Yeah.
But he sent me both of these.
Those are cool.
They've got good stability.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of flat. Here's another color he sent me.
I like the white one. I'd go with the white and black.
For sure.
So you've got his cell phone number. You text him and stuff.
I talk to him on Instagram for the most part, but
That's still pretty crazy because I'm sure everyone's trying to message him on Instagram.
Yeah.
Wow, good for you. Dude.
Yeah, I'm like the only blue check or non-blue check that he follows. You know what I mean? So I get a bunch of followers. You know, people won't see who the Rock's following. You know, who's this? Who's this freak eating all this food? That he's not famous. He don't have blue check.
I should have asked you. You must have your meals with you when you're in your trooper car? Do you eat while you're driving, or what do? You have to wait until?
Actually, see, I used to be real strict. You know, like I said, when you've got so much weight to lose, you know, to make the weight cap,
Yeah.
I started becoming way more flexible. Where you know, I didn't miss a meal for 15 years straight. I mean, not one. I don't care what I was doing. You know, maybe even if I was in college and I was at a bar, well, I had a protein bar in my back pocket and it's going to be eaten when it was time to eat. You know what I mean? Like I didn't miss any meals. Whereas now I can be a little more flexible. And if I'm an hour late on a meal, then, well, it's probably a good thing because I need to be eating less calories to lose weight anyway. So typically what I do is sponsored by Icon Meals. And so I got the fridge loaded up with them. And what's good about being a state trooper is you have the freedom to run home, you know, if it's within your area. So when it's mealtime, I'll just run the house real quick and throw a meal in for 2-3 minutes in the microwave and eat it and time to take off. So it's actually pretty conducive to being a bodybuilder.
Okay, because I've often said I think eating and driving is at least as dangerous as drinking and driving, especially if there's a fork involved. Years ago,
I've done it before.
A bodybuilder used to tell me he was eating chicken. He would eat his chicken and rice while driving. I said, "How do you steer?" He was with my elbow. I said, "Oh, that sounds like a horrible car accident waiting to happen right there." Oh,
yeah, no doubt.
State trooper question for you.
All right. Gotcha.
You never get to talk to anybody now. I talk to his regular meatheads. Okay, so the speed limit, what's the speed limit on the highways in Kentucky?
70.
70, okay. If everyone's going 80, well, first of all, is it the rule that is the left lane only supposed to be for passing?
Yeah, you're not supposed to hold up the left lane to travel. You know, you could actually write, I don't do it, but you could write somebody a ticket for improper usage of the left lane.
Well,
you know what I mean?
55 in the left lane. Yeah. Those people deserve a ticket. But I hate to, I don't want to put you on the spot, but how fast does somebody need to be going? Or is it just if they're going way faster than everybody else? How do you guys decide I haven't been pulled over in a long time, knock on wood. It's been many years, but I often wondered, like, do you have to be going way faster than everybody else, or what grabs your attention as a state trooper?
It's all discretion of the trooper. You know what I mean? That's any cop. It's discretion. What's going on? You know what the circumstances are. How fast everybody else is going. How fast they're going. Typically, you know, I hate to put a number down there for people and somebody start going that and get a ticket. But you know, if you're going over the speed limit, yes, you can get a ticket. Sure. For the most part, if you know, 10 over is usually not bad. You know, in my opinion, usually when you start to hit that 15 over, all right, this could potentially, you know, cause a problem, you know.
One time I wish I could summon a state trooper out of like nowhere is when I see these people thinking they're in like the Daytona. Is it Indy 5? Where do they change lanes a lot? Would that be like NASCAR? I don't know. Yeah. I see people flying, not only going fast, which that's one thing, but man, they're like zipping in and out of lanes and cutting people off by like inches. It looks like I'm like, I wish I could like go to my phone and say, "State trooper, please, I'm on I-95 North." And this asshole in a red Toyota Supra.
Well, hey, you'd be surprised how many of those calls we get a day.
Good.
You know, especially, and I work the interstate too here. You know, we got a real busy interstate, I-65 that you know, cuts down to Nashville. Yeah. And so you get a lot of traffic coming from from Louisville down to Nashville, and you know, hey, people call it in a heartbeat if you ain't driving right. So
Good.
yeah, yeah.
Cool. All right, Bartley, that has been quite a story. You're very, very diverse. You have a lot of different things going on. So that's cool. Because a lot of times I
Well,
just talk to meatheads.
well,
Yeah.
what do you think I should do next, Ron? What do you think I should do next? Just get huge or what?
Get huge. And then I would hit like Indy Pro. I would hit New York Pro. I would do the Puerto Rico again. Man. I mean,
Yeah.
when I see guys that don't compete much, I'm like, well, you could like anything can happen, and it might be your competitive career.
Right.
It's over. So compete while you can. These guys that take turn pro and then you don't see them for 3 years. I'm like, dude, are you out of your mind?
Yeah.
First of all, everyone's going to forget about you. You don't exist anymore because you're not relevant now. And now, like I said, anything can happen. You could get sick. Your life could change. Yeah, man. Do some shows. Do some shows.
Yeah, I want to give your boy Jose Raymond a shout out because he messaged me as soon as I turned pro, because I met him at one of the carbon culture events, and I really appreciated that. He reached out to me, congrats on turning pro and everything. So I kind of hit him up and I was like, hey man, hey, what do you think? Think I should do Puerto Rico next week? And he's like, do it, bro. He's like, hey, get your face out there, do it. So I have to give him credit for kind of talking me into that. Him and Flex Lewis was the first person I talked to after I turned pro. He was there in Chattanooga, and he was basically saying the same thing as, hey, if you feel good, then keep rolling, so.
And you look like you were already in shape, and there was it a week later, 2 weeks later?
A week later.
A week later. I mean, come on, why wouldn't you? You're already dieted down.
I can't do too many weeks after. I can do a week after, but I'll tell you what, I got some brownies landing today. I just checked the track in there. I got a sponsor, West Coast Confection. If you ever need any, I mean, I'm talking 2-pound brownies, blondies, anything you can imagine. So
I'm not sponsored by my cookie dealer, Juan and Karen Morel's company, but oh my God.
Hey, listen to this, Ron. Listen to this. Listen to this. So I had a bet with Liquid Sunrays owner, Marilyn Spatola. And because we like to talk smack back and forth. That's how she motivates me. She sponsors me. And, she told me, she's like, I don't think you're going to be ready. I was like, Marilyn, thank you. I love it when you say that, because I always get better every time you say it. And she's like, I don't know if you can get ready or not. You got a lot of work to do. And I said, what are we betting on it? She said, I'll bet you 10 my cookie dealers. If you turn pro, I'll send you 10 my cookie dealers. I said, all right. So one of the 5 boxes landed yesterday, and I ate all 5 half-pound cookies before I trained legs yesterday. So
they're so good. Not one healthy thing about them, guys, but my God, they're delicious and huge. Like those brownies. I mean, we're hungry. We don't want to mess with these little gluten-free Triscuits or whatever.
Well, see, that's how I load for shows, which is also very unconventional. Is I do nothing but junk food. Wow. Like I'm sitting in the room with Guy Sister Nino, and he's eating steak and rice, and I'm over there smashing cookies, Rice Krispie treats, Pop-Tarts, everything else. He's like, dude, I never seen this shit before in my life. I was like, hey, that's what I have to do when I'm so depleted. I kind of had to make up my own type of load there, because I was so depleted that I just needed, a mega dose of carbs and fat.
Probably like 20,000 calories you put away in that carb load, I bet. Something like that.
I guarantee it.
Try to get that many grams of carbs out of rice. Good luck.
Hey, it's especially a 2-day load. That's why I was so full at Puerto Rico Pro, because I had 2 days. NPC typically, it's weigh in at late afternoon and then compete next morning. So so I had a little extra day there.
And your belly was, I saw the pictures. Your stomach was nice and flat. It didn't.
Listen, and see, that's part of my little strategy there. I need to write a little book or something on the junk load special, because as long as I can take my fiber, clean my gut out, minimal food intake through the week. And then, my stomach, I can pull the best vacuum ever. So then after just junk loading one night, if I can process all that and get rid of that, then, theoretically you got the fullness with the small waist. So that's what I try to do.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, let's tell everyone once again where they can follow you on Instagram.
Yep.
It is IFBB Pro Bartley Weaver the fourth. The
Yeah,
website.
Dreamweaver IV is the actual tag. I think that's my name in the bio, but Dreamweaver IV on Instagram. No, you're good.
Dreamweaver, all one name, all one word.
Yeah, Dreamweaver IV.
And then IV.
Yeah.
You know, there's a song called, you probably never heard of it. There's a song.
Oh yeah, that's why I picked it. Hey, that's old Gary Wright back in the day.
Featured prominently in what was that, Wayne and Garth? What was that movie?
Yeah,
the SNL skit. I can't remember. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, Dreamweaver. Anyway, so that is dreamweaverfit.com is the website.
Right.
Dreamweaver 4 IV on Instagram.
Yeah.
And the supplement company and all that they can find through both of those, I'm assuming. So
the Titan Fuel.
You're an online coach available for that, guys, too. So check them out and look forward to seeing you fill out a little bit more and come back and crushing it next spring on the circuit.
Hey, more lats. We just need to stack some desserts right here, and we'll be good to go.
You certainly have the nutritional support. You'll be fine. Cool.
Hey, I appreciate it, Ron. Appreciate you having me on. And it's been a roller coaster whirlwind. Heck of a time, man. I'm just I'm blessed.
Congratulations. You look great. And that's, to go right into a pro show like you did and do respectably, that's a great thing. Cause like I said, so many guys now and girls turn pro, and that's the last you never see them again. That's it. They're gone.
Yeah.
So use that card like you did, please.
Hey, got to keep rolling. Hey, I've got it. I've got this one right here. I've got to do something with this.
Well, that's it. I would just carry that in my wallet.
Yeah.
Look at that thing.
Yeah, get it laminated.
Like the novelty checks they give out. I would take that to the bank. Cool. Well, Bartley, thank you so much. Everybody, thanks for watching this Ronline Report with new Classic Physique Pro and competitive eater and state trooper. He does it all. Bartley Weaver the fourth. Thanks for watching.
Hey, thank you, Ron. Looking good, brother. I appreciate you.